Here we go. Different time, same show. Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. What's up, Noah? Great to see you in the chat, Noah. What's up, Dave? Man, I am so ready for this season. What's up, Carlos? What's up? Don't panic. It's good to be live. A little bit different time tonight. I don't know how long we'll go due to the game looming, but yeah, man, we got it. We got to stick to it. We got to stick to the schedule. So that's how the schedule is going to work. It's going to be the same as last year. Tuesday is the spread video. Wednesday is upsets to bet. Wednesday night or early Thursday, the over-unders. Then Friday is the call-in show. This is personally my favorite call-in show, and I just want to address something. This is why I am hesitant when I put in bets early. Like, people on Patreon were pressuring me because I did put in one early. I did lock in one early because I wanted to lock in a spread. But this is why I post the bets Friday after I see the injury report. They always go up Friday night on Patreon. And let's talk about this Bengals situation. I know you guys want to talk about Eagles, Packers. That's the conversation of the day. But I want to talk about two situations that are an example of what I'm saying. This Bengals situation is troublesome. So tread lightly if you're betting the Bengals. I will not be betting them. I'll say that right now. Even with it down to 7.5, it is tempting. All of the things I said about the New England Patriots are extremely accurate. I wasn't wrong at all. You guys know I would come on here and I would tell you if I was wrong, but I'm worried. So the Bengals never start seasons slowly. I mean, they never start seasons fast. Every single start to the year, it's just a limp. They go 0-2, 1-4. We know how that goes. Okay, so Zach Taylor says he's changing how he's preparing during training camp. Well, T. Higgins lands on the injury report Wednesday. He's going to be out of the game. He's questionable, probably not going to play. Definitely not going to play. Let's be realistic about it. And then you have the Jamar Chase situation. We're getting contrary reports. Some are say he's going to play. Some say he's a game time decision. Some say he's going to sit out for waiting for the contract. So this is why we have to wait to Friday when we place bets. If we have to get one in early, we have to get one early, especially if we're bouncing around key numbers. But this Bengals situation is absolutely horrendous. They don't play any starters during preseason, yet their team comes in limping to week one every single year. Every single year. And that's unacceptable. And the last division you want to be limping into the year is in this AFC North. You hear me, chat? I mean, it's crazy. Now let's get to the other situation. We got Steelers. So it looked like this Russell Wilson situation, we know he did that calf like about a week into training camp. I think he missed like a week and a half during training camp. So then we get the bombshell today. All hints are pointing to Russell America Wilson not playing. I mean, I think that helps Steelers. But I'm just telling you, that's why Friday injury report is so important. And that's why I wait to that for the vast majority of my bets. Great to see the chat, man. I'm going to let everyone get in here. Then I'm going to get to the Patreon questions. What's up, Gus? Great to see you, Gus. Shannon, what's up? What's up, bro? What's up, bro? What's up, Brian Webb? What's up, Ricky G? What's up, Felipe? Lauren Kaiser's in the chat. Lauren, don't you have to work? Isn't this a little bit early for you? What's up, Clutch? What's up, Eric Reborn? Hey, Lawson. Okay, I wanted to address this. Eric Reborn. What's up, Eric? Hey, Lawson, do you think the new kickoff rules may give us a little edge on the over-unders early in the season? No, because I think they're gonna all be touchbacks. I was surprised when we saw the Ravens last night. We saw Justin Tucker try to hang time two of them, and they looked very, very dangerous. Like, I actually think the kickoffs we'll see more returns and we'll see better field position once it gets to like late November, December, when the ball is harder to kick out of the end zone once it gets cold. I think that's when we see it start to change the totals. Um, yeah, so I'm not worried about that. But one thing, when you're betting an under, it does get frustrating when teams are starting at the 30-35 every time, especially with how good field goal kickers are in this league. Of course, we saw Justin Tucker miss that 50-yarder last night, but with how good these field goal kickers are, bro, it's like a touchdown. It's like two first downs and you're already in kicking position. It's crazy, man. So yeah, we got to monitor it. I'm not going overboard with it because I think most of them will be touchbacks, start at the 30. That's how I'm going. We got a Panthers believer in the chat. Panthers, money, money, money. I'm biased. Listen, man. I think the Panthers are dangerous here. And I respect Dave Canales. And really the only two head coaching hires I like this offseason were Mike McDonald and Dave Canales. I don't know about you guys. Those were the two I liked. And I felt like those two were extremely interesting. Um, I'm not a Bryce Young believer, but I'm also not a Saints believer. I think the Saints roster is more depleted, more decrepit, older than other people think. So I can see the rationale there. What's up, Calvin? Um, yeah, yeah, man. I last night was crazy. Last night was crazy. I when we talk about that Ravens Chiefs game, my analysis starts with this. I think Leo's in the chat, our resident Ravens fan. But like I told Leo on Instagram last night, I said, bro, this was like a C- game from the Ravens. And he kind of agreed with me. He agreed with me. Like, they just didn't establish the run. And when you have a running back like Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson, guys of that ilk, you have to stay consistent with it. And it does get frustrating, but you have to stay consistent with it. Like, that's one reason why like a coach like Harbaugh is so successful. He'll stay consistent. He'll eat a possession just to establish the run. And we didn't see any of that. And we knew the offensive line of the Ravens. We did say that. We did address that before the game. 3 new starters. That's not easy in this league by any means. But in the second half, I felt like they dealt with Chris Jones rather well. First drive of the game, I felt like they were getting a pretty good push. And I felt like Lamar Jackson was phenomenal. And he just didn't make those last 2 throws. And the Isaiah Likely touchdown, if that was a regional game, I'll tell you, Mike Florio wrote an interesting article. If that was a regional game, like if that was like the Falcons Steelers or like the Titans at Seahawks, just throwing out random games, they wouldn't have that extra camera angle that made it conclusive. Like, because the first 4 camera angles were not clear and conclusive. So unfortunately, we got that last camera angle that showed Isaiah Likely's foot on the line. Yeah. Yeah, Gus, you're right. If you go pass for pass with Mahomes and you try to out slang the Chiefs, you're just gonna lose. You're gonna lose. It's not gonna happen. And yeah, we can throw out our theories about Chiefs games, but I should listen. I'm not gonna bet any games they're involved in. I am not going near them. Betting them or betting against them. I'm just not interested in their games anymore in terms of betting. Lots of other meat to pick on the bone. That's one thing we have to say. Like, lots of other meat on the bone, and some of the penalties last night were frustrating. Like the 3 penalties on Ronnie Stanley for illegal formation. Yeah, yeah, that was quite annoying. And just for people who are coming in the chat now, I addressed the Bengals situation at the beginning of the video. That's extremely important. I want you at least walking away from this video with that information. Um, do I have a sleeper pick this weekend? There are some sleeper picks. I did the upset video. I think the Raiders could be a sleeper pick, but all of you guys seem to understand the rationale. The one pick I got a lot of pushback for was the Commanders. So yeah, those two are games I'm thinking about. And I do want to throw a little bit of cold water on one subject before we get to the Patreon questions. Listen, you got, if you saw my season preview, I kind of felt like the Cardinals could surprise this year. I wouldn't be surprised, for instance, the Cardinals finished ahead of the Rams and Hawks in that NFC West. But with that being said, I feel like people are a little bit too bullish on the Cardinals. Like I'm seeing a lot of people on Patreon say Cardinals money line, Cardinals are going to slam the Bills. And I get the rationale. I get that the Bills are extremely vulnerable, but the Bills' vulnerabilities do not cover up the vulnerabilities on the Cardinals' defense. That's my main question. We know what the Cardinals are going to do on defense. They're going to play a lot of soft coverage. They're going to make you drive the whole length of the field. They're not going to give up the big play. But I think this Bills team will be able to run the ball against them. Now, this Cardinals offense is a joker card. I mean, they look stacked. Like the offensive line looks better. You got McBride, one of the most underrated tight ends in this league. I like Wilson at wide receiver. Marvin Harrison Jr. should come in like Malik Neighbors and be instant impact. So, yeah, man, I think this Cardinals offense can be good. I understand the allure of that game. I just think that's a really tough place to go. And listen, I know we want to get against the Bills. Like we sense the vulnerabilities. Like we are like that panther in the forest or that mountain lion in the trails. And he sees that wounded animal and he is licking his lips, but he's also not going to pounce where it leaves him in a vulnerable position. He's going to wait. He's going to buy his time and then he's going to pounce. The Bills are that wounded animal. They are extremely vulnerable this year, and we can get against them, and we will get against them, and we will get against them next week. I'm licking my chops. They're at Miami. Miami -1. Book it already. Just wait a little bit of patience, guys. I know you want to fire against the Bills. I know you see the vulnerabilities. I know you saw Poyer and Hyde leave the safety. I know Tre'Davious White's not coming back. I know they don't have anyone to throw to. I know their wide receiver depth is just 5 slot receivers with Dalton Kincaid. And I get the vulnerabilities, man. I get it. It's just wait till next week and then you can exploit it. Yeah. So let's get to the Patreon questions. What's up, Wink? Good to see you, Wink, man. Texans this year. Texans, what a run, man. What a run. D'Amico and them boys were an absolute gravy train for this channel last year. Shout out to the Texans. Okay, let's get to the first question. Kevin, if you were only making one bet this weekend, what would be your play? Thanks, John. Kevin, I'm going to make that very clear when I post the bets. I normally don't do that unless it's a college fun pick. And this pick isn't a college fun because it is week 1, but there is one pick I rate above the others, like a lot above the others. And as this week goes on, as some of the lines move, it is getting murkier, but there is one game that is just sitting there calling my name, and it's been calling my name for 5.5, 6 months. So I will let you know, Kevin, when I post them. Lino Frosto, yo, Lawson, what's good, Playboy? Shout out to all my DGens, and let's stack this money this year. Much love to everyone who is with us, and more love to those against us. Let's ride. Amen, Lino. Great to see you, bro. I think this is like our 4th season betting together. Always fun to break bread with you, man. And I got a soccer pick for the D-Gens this weekend. Should be good. Looking forward to it. Yeah, man. This is from Mike. What's up, Mike? Mike on Patreon says, thinking about 4-bet parlay. I'm not a big fan of parlays. You should probably just tease this, but look, I'll entertain it. Panthers plus 3.5. Bold. Titans plus 3.5. Raiders plus 3.5. Commanders plus 3.5. Listen, when I first saw that Titans Bears line, I was very excited about the Titans. And I feel like they made some low key additions to their defense. Now, the question with the Titans is their offensive line going to be able to block? I mean, they were one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year. I mean, you could arguably say they were worse than the Giants if you include run blocking in your metrics. But the Bears don't really have anyone in the interior to test you. And they have Montez Sweat, but at the other defensive end, they're spares. So I think the Titans offensive line can hold up here. So that's why I like it, but I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I don't know if I trust Will Levis, but I trust the playmakers. Raiders plus 3.5. I like it. No complaints from me. No complaints from me. I am getting against the Harbaugh hype train. Is it the position I want to be in with Minshew at quarterback? No, not really. Our Commanders plus 3.5. I like it. I just like Jaden Daniels. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jaden Daniels had a better career than Caleb Williams. And I've liked what I've seen out of Jaden Daniels accuracy wise. That's one thing that surprised me. And I was saying it last week. I think out of all of these rookie quarterbacks, I think he translates the fastest to the NFL. I wouldn't have said that 3-4 months ago. And I do wonder if Caleb Williams is going to be dominant as everyone thought. The only one I can really pick holes in that parlay is Panthers plus 3.5. Like, your fundamentals are right. I get the fundamentals of it. It makes sense. I just don't know if I trust Bryce Young in any situation, man. That's where we're going to have to split on that one. Not that I would pick the Saints to cover. Charles Kaiser, are we taking Eagles down to -2? I'm staying by my pick, man. I'm not betting it, though. I'm not betting it, though. Interesting tidbit that came out of Brazil, man. Interesting tidbit. So because the Eagles are quote unquote the home team, they get to stay closer to the hotel than the Panthers. So the Packers, when they take their bus ride in to play tonight, they're going to have to sit through 2 to 2.5 hours of traffic. Brutal, bro. Brutal. I don't think that changes the game or changes the line. Just a tidbit. Jeff Jabroni sends a super chat. Jeff Jabroni says, can't believe we're still kicking. Stay strong, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Great to see you, Jeff. How long have you been watching? Like, at least like 3-4 years. Sometimes you disappear because I know you've been working, like you travel for work. So nice to see you, man. Freshness. Get a Pepsi for tonight. Thank you, Freshness. Yo, man, when are you gonna come to Brazil, man? When are you gonna come to Brazil? We gotta see you in Brazil. And that Chiefs game last night, I know that rubbed you the wrong way. Okay, here we go. Now, Rake Flyer, I don't think the new rules will improve the game. I don't. And there's like an academic theory for this. Every single time you break down a rule or you break down a fence, you have to remember why the fence was there in the first place. So they just keep adding new rules, and really it's just to make the game quote unquote safer. But for me, they want more scoring. That I don't think the NFL and the league office liked what they saw the first 8 weeks last year with defenses catching up. because these defensive backs are getting better, man. And these linebackers, look at how good they are in coverage now. Like look at a guy like Patrick Queen who went from the Ravens to the Steelers. Like you just didn't see linebackers covering like that 15 years ago. So I think the NFL, I think they're doing this for points. And then you get into a dangerous road where you become like the NBA, where like where like eh, where like both teams are getting into like the 130s every single game. And I don't know if the NBA is the same quality product it was before. I'll tell you why. I used to be an NBA guy. I used to be a league pass guy. Like I would go watch like Kevin Love and the Timberwolves and the Knicks, and I would watch the NBA religiously. I'm not checking for it anymore. It's just not competitive. And let me use another example, not to bash on the NBA. They're going to do what they do. Um, but you watch Olympic basketball, man. I love Olympic basketball because it's physical and they're not twisting and adjusting rules. And defense has to be a factor in the game. And I just don't want them to destroy our game. So I'm very cautious with any rule change, like the hip chop tackle rule. I think it's going to be a little bit of a nothing burger. Like, remember when they put in like 8 years ago that the crown of the helmet with the running back? They never call it. So I think it's going to be a nothing burger. But the new kickoff rule, bro, just do the old kickoff. And they used to kick farther back, so you always had returns. Just go to the old kickoff. Like, yeah. Um, here we go. Yeah, I'm still on the under. I'm not budging on that. I'm not budging on the under in that Eagles game, man. Not budging on it. Okay, next Patreon question from Derek. My mouse disappeared. God damn it, man. Okay, Derek. It's awesome to see you again and for the season to be back. It's great to see you, Derek. Always great to see everyone in the comment section. I mean, you guys were phenomenal this week. Good luck this year and hope you and your family are doing well. You too, Derek. Do any of these games concern you? If you had to take one game off, if any, or change at a game, which would it be? 7-point teaser. Philly plus 5. Buffalo plus a half a point. Miami plus 3.5. Cincy minus 1. Detroit plus 3.5. No, none of that concerns me, Derek. None of it does. The only one I could see being a little bit dangerous is Cincy, but I don't. I'm nitpicking the nitpick. If I had to take one off, I would probably take Philly off because I think Philly will be good this season. I think they'll play good tonight. I think this will be a close game. I think Philly will win the damn game. But also, you remember last year, they didn't show up against the Buccaneers. They didn't show up the last 6-7 games of the year. So if I had a nitpick, I would take the Philly one off. I actually like that, Derek. No complaints from me tonight. Brian, over, under on tonight's game. I'm going under. Um, Not a lot of science. Um, one of the reasons, uh, one of the reasons why it's not a lot of science because I did see the turf today. They're using grass, and the grass in Corinthians Stadium is very, very good, very well capped. I don't think we're going to have the same issues we have on the surfaces in London. So, yeah, man, I still think we're going to see the under because I think both defenses are going to be better. No Joe Barry at defensive coordinator for the Packers. And the Eagles defense can't be worse than it was last year, especially the secondary. I like a lot of the moves the Eagles made. None of it was sexy, but I like their moves. And I think the Eagles have to get back to running the ball and being a physical outfit. And Saquon Barkley should help control the time of possession. But like we saw with the Ravens last night, are they going to, is the team going to stick to the run? You would think, but they don't. Jason Harper, what are some tips you have for people trying to make sports betting their job? Also, this, I believe, is my third year with you. Thank you for everything you've done for me and everyone else. You're someone who truly cares about his audience. Jason, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Like 3 years, like, yeah, man, that like means a lot. Like, when someone's been riding with you for 3 years, because we know how this betting is. So here's my main thing. I like it's basic rules like you bet 4 or 5 NFL games a weekend, or you bet three, and then you don't chase losses or you don't chase wins. Like no one talks about chasing wins. Like you guys know when you rip off like 4 games in a row, and then you just bet the Monday night game to bet the Monday night game because you're bored. Like, no, you're not bored. You should be watching that Monday night game so you know what's going on next week so you can exploit a matchup. You don't need to bet a game just to bet it. Like, that's my issue. And that's why I hate betting primetime games. And I rarely do it, even though last year I was good. But remember 2 years ago? Like, I had a great year 2 years ago, but every fucking Thursday night game, I was on the opposite end. And so, yeah, avoiding betting primetime games unless you have a great feel for it. Avoid betting games where you don't have a good feel, and try to keep the volume down. Like, there's no problem going 3, 4, 5 bets a weekend like I do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Also, you have to know when to go in. Like, some comments, like sometimes I get comments like saying like, um, on the YouTube video, like, yeah, you, you lost that one. How are you making money? Well, it's one bet. It's not the end of the world. And at the end of the day, we have to be judging this in a volume standpoint. I did the math yesterday. We're going to have between 210 and 245 NFL bets this year. So we have to take it like a marathon, and we can't press. Another thing, this is something I don't think other people will advise, but at a certain point, you have to. I'm not saying empty your bank account or do anything like that. You have to go all in on a game, and that's what we did week 9 last year. Unfortunately, we had 2 games that I really liked that were perfect to go big on the same week, the Steelers and the 49ers. And that's what we did. We know when to go big and we know when to keep it normal. Um, yeah, man. So that would be it. And then my other advice would be to find a niche sport like soccer to bet, a niche league, tennis. I see some people betting WNBA. Like I couldn't watch WNBA. I couldn't. But if you can do that, I would suggest it. Like you need another niche sport to go along with the NFL. So yeah, that was a little scattered brain, but here we go. Um, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I remember everything. I have a photograph memory, by the way. I remember commenters from 5 years ago. I I know YouTube made people like change their usernames like maybe like a year and a half ago, but I have a photographic memory. I can remember everyone's username pretty much. Um, yeah. So okay, here we go. Jeremy Wheel, what's up, Jeremy? Commanders versus Bucks. You think the no names can cover? It's at 3.5 right now. I do. I do. And I laid out the reasons. My main curiosity is, can the Commanders run the ball? Will Jaden Daniels adding that extra set of legs, will that help that offensive line get a better push? Because the Commanders' offensive line was garbage last year. If they can get some sort of push, if they can get some sort of running game, I think they can win the game, let alone cover. So that's my quick take on that. I think their defense is going to be good, but also when we look at that Commanders Bucks game, like you guys are seeing the Bills vulnerabilities and you want to bet the Cardinals money line, I am seeing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers vulnerabilities. I think they have an average coach. I think they have an average quarterback in Baker Mayfield who is due to regress. Now, I do worry about Washington's secondary a little bit, actually a lot. When we watch Emmanuel Forbes play, it's not pretty. But man, I think this Commanders team will be competitive this game, and I think it's a 3-point game. Either way, I could see the Commanders winning it, so I do like them to cover the 3.5. Jonathan Yim, can't wait to smash the books this year with you. Just wondering your thoughts on a couple survivor picks you might have. Money, money, money. Keep up the great work. Okay, so for survivor picks this week, I'm going Bengals. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I did start the show complaining about the Bengals, and I'm worried about the wide receiver situation. But if Jamar Chase is playing, they're going to find a way to win the game. I think Mike Gesicki has a huge game. The Bengals are the obvious pick. Like this week it's tricky for Survivor. Like people get buzzsawed, and the Seahawks. I get why people would say the Seahawks. And if I had to go with one Survivor outside of the Cincinnati Bengals, I would go. Man, I might have to use the Dolphins. Like it's a brutal week for Survivor, and I get the strategy of it. You want to wait to use the better teams, but man, I would just go Bengals. Or Seattle. Yo, thank you, Dave. I try to give good advice, man. And appreciate you guys helping with the algorithm. Video views were phenomenal this week. Yeah, Patriots got to be 32 out of 32, right? I mean, was I exaggerating with that? Like, I don't think I am. They have to be, at least offensively. I mean, offensively, like, there's no worse unit talent-wise than this New England Patriots. Offense. Yeah, man, and yeah, sometimes it's good not to bet games. Like there's a lot of dangerous games. Like and week one, I don't think we've ever had a non-profitable week one, but this year is a little bit more murky with these spreads. I'm going to be honest with it, man. So just keeping everyone informed. It's a bit murky. Okay, here we go. Let's get to Slurry Pumper. What's up, Slurry? And you're in the YouTube chat too. Oh, he's got the Ronald. Is that Ronald McDonald in the profile photo on Patreon? Hi, Mr. Lawson. I think the Tennessee team is suffering from the team's previous style to start the year. I kind of think so, and thus the over/under is set too low. The Bears D blows and the offense is stacked, while the new offense at the Titans has me liking over up to the 45. Yeah, I picked over on this. Like I said in the over/under video, I felt like this is going to be one of the surprises. I like the over in the Titans Bears game. You do worry. You got two young quarterbacks. You got Will Levis. Can he play, or is he any good? We don't really know yet. And then you got Caleb Williams. But like you said, there's a lot of potency. There's a lot of weapons. And like you said, the Titans are going to have a completely different style, completely different scheme on defense as well. I do like some of the additions the Titans made on defense, but that secondary is vulnerable. And when that secondary is vulnerable and you don't have an elite pass rusher, that means points to me. And like I said earlier in the show, the big question for me is, can this Titans offense line hold up? As of right now, I think they might be able to. So yeah, I like the over. Alan Corrales, is Jets plus 4.5 a good bet? Monday Night Football, 49er Stadium, the perfect environment for a trap game. This one has been haunting me, Alan. It's been haunting me for the last like 15, 20 days. Because like the 49ers built this channel. Like the 49ers covering spreads for us built this channel. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they've always been clutch, and you like taking them in situations. I don't like taking the 49ers when they're laying like 6 or 7 or 8, but I do like taking the Shanahan squad when they are in these types of situations. But with that being said, man, I have to stick with the Jets pick. I have to. Like, maybe I'm stuck in 90s football. This Jets defense is so damn good. It's the best defense we've seen the last 5-7 years of this new generation. It's absolutely stacked. I can't believe this defense doesn't get more credit. And when you look at this defense, you say, listen, Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, new offensive line, Tyron Smith back, coming over from Dallas, Elijah Vera Tucker. Can you guys get to 20? Can you guys get to 17 or 20? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Even if the Jets don't, like, I see like a 2017 game in this 49ers matchup. I like the way the Jets match up defensively. I think they're one of the few teams that can match up with this 49ers weaponry. And do the 49ers come in a little bit sluggish to this game with the Aiyuk holdout, with the Trent Williams holdout? Yeah, man. You always worry about Salah. That's the problem, though, with the Jets. Now, chat on YouTube. I don't know how much you guys worry about Salah, but I worry about Salah. I worry about Nathaniel Hackett. Now, I know Aaron Rodgers is probably more so the offensive coordinator than Nathaniel Hackett. Okay. But when those two guys are the brain trust of your team going on the road to the 49ers, that's my only piece of caution. That's my only piece of caution. Like, riding into a gauntlet with money on the line with Salah and Nathaniel Hackett, it's a risky proposition, but gambling is risk. But if we're talking like on the field, dogs versus dogs, like, yeah, I think the Jets are phenomenal. I really do. I really do. And yes, this offensive line is going to take time to mash. But I felt like Douglas did a great job addressing the offensive line issues. Now, the Hassan Reddick situation was absolutely pathetic, and then it makes the Jets look like a dumpster fire. But other than that, it was a pretty good offseason. Mike Williams, a big physical guy, a good tight end in Conklin. Breece Hall, I think Breece Hall's a fucking top 5 running back. Maybe I'm overstating my case. And I think this is the 49ers defense that we've seen the best of them. I think the salary cap has eaten away at this 49ers defense. Now, Steve Wilkes took the blame last year, right? Had to blame someone. But should he have taken all that blame? They've always been a team that likes to rush 4, drop 7, get to the quarterback. They weren't able to get to the quarterback last year. Bring in Chase Young in a desperate measure midseason. Against the Jags, they beat up the Jags offensive line, but that was the bottom 3rd offensive line in the league. Interesting game. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. The best gambling show on the internet. We're going on now, still taking Patreon questions. Shout out to everyone on Patreon. Shout out to everyone in the YouTube chat. You guys have been phenomenal this week. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for sharing the videos. Okay. Paper City Studios. Hey, Lawson, recently seen a video of Jalen Hurts saying it will be his first time calling out the defense at the line of scrimmage with Kelsey now gone. Do you think this is a big deal, and how much will it affect the Eagles early on in the season? Paper, can I tell you, I'm not trying to avoid your question. because when you lose a player like Jason Kelsey, maybe the best center I've ever seen, and I'm an offense line guy. I like offense lines. Like, if you ask me about Willie Roaf, like I'll talk about Willie Roaf for like an hour if you want me to. But Jason Kelsey is probably the best center I've seen in my generation of watching football. Maybe Kevin Mawai beats him. Maybe. I don't think so though. Um, with that being said, my issue is more with Kellen Moore. Will Kellen Moore bring stability? Because we know last year the play calling, the organization of that offense under Brian Johnson just wasn't good enough. Nick Sirianni needs to take blame, of course, but you bring in Kellen Moore, and I got to tell you, man, I'm optimistic about it, but I'm not a big Kellen Moore guy. I'm not. But in terms of addressing your question, I think Hurts doing that will actually help. I mean, because man, like I feel like I feel like either way, like a quarterback has a better view of where the mic is, where the defensive line is. He knows where the safeties are. Like just by watching the safeties, you can actually tell a lot of what the front seven's gonna do. So that would be. I'm not concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the play call, and I'm more concerned about Hurts' health. I am, because once he did that knee last year, the season dipped. It just dipped, man. But that Eagles offense is still stacked, and I wonder how that Saquon addition comes into play. Like, yo, tonight we got a lot of people don't even talk about this Josh Jacobs addition for the Packers. Like, yeah, man, I felt like that was a big upgrade for the Packers too. Like, I know Aaron Jones does different things. He gives you a lot out of the backfield in terms of a receiving option, but Josh Jacobs is consistent, doesn't miss games. Aaron Jones misses like 8-10 games a year now. You never know if he's going to play. He's a late game scratch. Like, he's always getting scratched during pregame warmups. I'm excited for this running back matchup. Okay. Elijah Williams. Do the Titans have a chance of beating the Bears? Yes, I do. I think they have more than a puncher's chance. I'm not picking against the Bears, though, in terms of money line, but I think this Titans team can give them a scare. I'm excited to see it. And there is a little bit too much Bears hype, but how can you not with these weapons, man? But the Titans also have weapons. I'm curious to see this Titans defense. I think it'll be better than people think. Jocelyn Castillo. Hey, Lawson, I'm back for another year. Welcome back, Jocelyn. The local pub is opening their bookie, and here are the weird lines they have for the week. Miami and Jacksonville +3, Atlanta and Pittsburgh +3, Vikings and Giants +1, New Orleans and Carolina +3, Cincinnati and New England +10, Bears, Titans +4, Bills, Zona +6, Houston, Indy +3, Chargers, Vegas +3, Tampa and Washington +3, Cleveland, Dallas +2.5, Detroit and the LA Rams +4, San Fran and Jets +4. Anything hot to hop on? I think you're getting good value with the Fins at that 3-point mark, because that's one thing that's bothering me. Because listen, on Discord, I just told everyone, once I saw it get to 3, I told the people on Discord, yo, go bet it. I'm going to post it Friday, but let's lock this in at 3. I have no questions about the injury report or anything like that. But here's my issue with that. I'm wondering, like, most of the books, I think 8 out of the 9 big books have it at -3.5 +100. So obviously it's leaning to -3, but a lot of people can't go to the alternative lines and buy points or select the -3 option. And we know that half a point is gold in what we do. So that is one thing that's getting against my craw. Also, I think Saints -3 against the Panthers is a good price. Would I pull the trigger? No. That's a stay away game for me, but that is tempting. Like, that's a better line than everyone else is getting. Let's look at what that game is now. Yeah, like Jocelyn, that would be the one I think you're getting some value on. Some of these, yeah, like Washington's been 3.5, but yeah, it's like one of those tickets. Like, that's why me and my dad used to play them. You get the tickets, and then you select five, and yeah, man. So I think it's something like that. Anyways, don't drink too much, Josh. Yeah, we got a long season ahead. Justin Gustafson, what's up, Justin? What team would you feel most confident to win outright for Survivor Leagues this week? Whoever made the schedule did a good job week 1. I know, right, Justin? Bengals. I'm not overthinking it. Bengals. Last I saw, Jamar Chase is playing. We're getting contrary reports. Someone in the YouTube chat, get the latest report. Yeah, it's Bengals. I'm not trying to overthink this. I really am. I'm not. You got to use Bengals early. Jared H. Do you think the Steelers improved from last year? And do you think their schedule will motivate them to play well early? No. Okay. This is okay. I do think the Steelers improved. I do. But what are they doing at their number 2 receiver? Like, we watched Xavier Worthy last night, and we're looking at the Steelers 2 and 3 options, and it's absolute garbage. And yes, I think Pickens is a very good wide receiver. I think he's underrated. I think Fryer moves a pretty damn good tight end, definitely a top tight end in this league, right? I mean, right? Although we are in the golden age of tight ends, but when I do think they improve. You bring over Patrick Queen, and I felt like this was a new Steelers dynamic. Like, I felt like they were churning into a team that would take more risks. The Steelers organization for me has just felt too comfortable, like a married couple, going through the motions, just staying together for the kids, going to the same restaurant every single day at 4:30 p.m. They needed to spice it up. They needed to change things. So I see them trade Kenny Pickett. I'm like, yes, I've been saying he can't play since fucking 2 years ago, but okay, fair enough. And then I see them bring in Justin Fields, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Then I see them bring in Arthur Smith, and that combination I felt like was really interesting. And did I mention how long they held on to Matt Canada? So we finally get rid of Matt Canada. We get Arthur Smith and Justin Fields. You bring in Russell Wilson, and I'm like, okay, great. I don't think Russell Wilson can play anymore, but let's let them battle it out. Let's make this a fair competition. That's what they were telling the fans. But they were kayfabing their whole fan base. It was never a competition. It was rolled out on a red carpet so Russ could come in and be the quarterback. He didn't earn it. He didn't. And when I think of Arthur Smith's scheme with Russell Wilson, it is an absolute nightmare. It's not going to work. Arthur Smith is a good offensive coordinator, but Russell Wilson's not a good quarterback, and he can't play anymore. I don't know why there's so many copes. The worst cope I've heard all year was, well, he's on the salary minimum. Well, who the fuck cares? Can he play football? He can't throw anymore. He's not accurate. He can't scramble. What the fuck can he do? And he didn't read defenses well with Nathaniel Hackett. He played pretty average last year with Sean Payton, but Sean Payton's one of the quarterback whisperers of this generation. There's no one better than Sean Payton at getting quarterback play. I mean, look at Michael Mann's in the chat. Look at Teddy Bridgewater's numbers with Sean Payton. Fuck, look at Trevor Simeon's numbers with Sean Payton. So they never gave Justin Fields a fair crack, and I think they lied about the Ayuk trade interest. I think they had no interest in doing that, by the way. I think that was them lying again. And so you're left at a gigantic hole at number 2 receiver. You trade Deontay Johnson to the Panthers, and there's an argument that Deontay Johnson is more valuable than Pickett because Deontay Johnson works in the flat and runs a wide variety of routes. George Pickens never really developed his route tree. So it's the same shit, man. It's a race to 9 wins. And yes, we will be betting the Steelers. And credit to the Steelers for helping us pull out one of the big bets last year on the college fund bet week 9 against the Packers. But that's all they're good for. Like them evolving, them adapting to this new age NFL. Nah, it's not going to happen, man. Not going to happen. Yeah, it's not. I actually want to see the chat's response because I got excited. Like, guys, like, I'm a football fan. I like building projects. I like seeing coaches put forth a roster. I like seeing GMs draft. I love that. And I love seeing things be built. And then the Steelers just pulled the rug out. And Justin Fields did bad here, man. He really did. And everyone says, like, I'm always coping for Justin Fields. Like, not really, man. But look at Caleb Williams' weapons this year compared to Justin Fields when he came in and was a starter. Like, I felt like the Bears' weapons when Fields came into the league were almost as bad as this year's Patriots. Okay. Russ is the same height as Simone Biles. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What's up, Von? What's up, Campbell? Yeah, and it looks like Russell Wilson's going to miss the Falcons game. That came out of nowhere. I think it's the same calf he did earlier in training camp. And you would think you would go Fields because from what we saw out of training camp, they can't block anyone. They can't run block. They can't pass block. So I guess it's Justin Fields situation. I mean, yeah, we got all the Patreon questions. So yeah, Michael Mann and Lauren, if you want to come on and talk about the Eagles game, and we'll go for like 20 minutes. But yeah, like Eagles, Packers, still like the Eagles. Still like the Eagles. I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a fun night. I am a little bit. Here's one thing. Here's one reason why I understand some of the Green Bay hype. I don't know if you guys have been seeing it, but a lot of people are picking Green Bay to get to the Super Bowl. I don't agree with that, obviously, but I do wonder them finally getting rid of Joe Barry as defensive coordinator. I really want to see what it does to the defense because we know Joe Barry was one of the most soft, vanilla defensive coordinators in this league. I mean, he really is. And when you have a good secondary like the Packers have had the last 3-4 years, I mean, I'm not saying it's an elite secondary, but it's a good secondary, man. You got guys like Jair Alexander, like that's no joke. Yet they play the soft coverage, they never blitz, and it's just the same thing year in and year out. So, yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Michael, man, I'll invite you. Yeah, because maybe you can give us some perspective on that Panthers game because a lot of people are talking about it. Okay, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Anthony Howard joined on Patreon. Thank you, Anthony. Marlon Templeton joined on Patreon. Thank you. Thank you, Marlon. Dives 415 joined on Patreon. Welcome. It's good to have you guys. Very good to have you guys. I'm going to send the invite in a second. Let me make sure I didn't miss any Patreon questions. If you have a YouTube question, leave it down below. It's hard for me to see in the chat. Okay. But if I see it, I'll get to it. Okay, I think we got through them. So yeah, Patreon users have been clutch. Michael Mann joined on Patreon. I got Michael Mann to join on Patreon. Wow, man. I feel honored. I feel honored. Thank you. Thank you, Michael Mann. Yeah, Michael Mann's been having some hotter takes during this offseason. There was one take I liked. Oh yeah, it was about Rashid Rice. Like, yeah, man. I don't ask for anyone to be suspended by any means. I don't ask for anyone to be suspended. But how much shit did Rashid Rice do off the field in a 12-month period? Like, I know the driving thing that was crazy. People got hurt and all that stuff, but there was other shit too. And no suspension comes down, and yeah. Gus, my casino has Eagles -2. Should I take it? I mean, Gus, like, I think it's a good line for the Eagles, but yeah, listen, man. I think the Eagles play well tonight. If I had to pick a side, that's the side I'm betting. Just laying off because it's an international game in Brazil. My wife's excited to watch. She's actually going to watch it. So, yeah, people are buzzing here. So we'll see. NFL doesn't miss, man. They do not miss. And for all the stuff that transpired in that game last night, that game was awesome last night. It was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, Michael, man, no rush, man. Yeah, Steven, I was shocked he played. Like, I'm surprised they're letting Jordan Addison play this week. Thank God, because Hawkinson's going to be out for my Minnesota Vikings. So Sammy D is going to need another target. Oh, and this reminds me, as a Viking fan, like, this reminds me, here's how bad it was, guys. Here's how bad it was. I got fucking excited when the Vikings put Gus Farrar to finish like the last 12 games of the season. That's how much bad quarterback play I grew up on. So I'm genuinely excited about Sammy D. At least we get to play the Giants. Just worried about how the Vikings are going to block Dexter Lawrence. But if they're able to deal with Dexter Lawrence, I think Darisaw and O'Neal can deal with Burns and Thibodeau. I think the edges of the Giants defense are really good. Like, I think for all like the Giants dunking on the Giants and that Hard Knocks was absolutely pathetic. Like, we kind of knew that was a Mickey Mouse organization, just the way they drafted the last 5 years. But even with that being said, I think it's the best Giants defense they've had in like 5-6 years. The secondary isn't good. Like, when you're bringing in Adoree Jackson a week before the season starts, that's an alarm, right? But I still think this Giants defense is going to be pretty good this year. So a little bit nervous. If the Vikings can block Dexter Lawrence, I think the Vikings will have cool runnings in this game, so to speak. A little bit worried about the Vikings running back situation as well. I have to be honest about it. This is the worst running back situation I've seen in my history of following the Vikings. So a little bit worried about that. But at the end of the day, when you got Sam Darnold against Daniel Jones, there's not going to be a lot of points. There's not going to be a lot of action. But we all know turnovers are going to decide the game. And give me the Flores defense and Danny Dimes slinging it to the other team. And anyone out, like, I'm not trying to be a like psychoanalyst, but sometimes we have to get into our psychologist chair and lean back a little bit. I listen, Daniel Jones, like his body language, just he looks like so low confidence. I've never seen a quarterback so low confidence with such poor body language as Daniel Jones. Like he looks defeated. He looks defeated. Sticks, what's up, man? Yeah, Sticks. That running back room is bad, and I don't know what their methodology is with it. Like I was happy they got rid of Alexander Madison, but the room's just not looking good right now. Maybe Chandler steps up, but yeah, man, I'm worried about it. And I'm worried about how they're going to block Dexter Lawrence. If you tell me Bradbury comes out, has a good game, they're able to somehow control Dexter Lawrence in the middle, I think the Vikings sail, man. Sean. Green Bay was stuck in traffic for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like it's brutal there. Like I said on the over/under videos, why like I don't like visiting that city. Like, firstly, it doesn't have a beach. It has so many people, and I think it has the worst traffic in the world outside of like LA. So yeah, it was a hard pass for me. And plus, this is a working week. Like, I wanted to go to the game. I wanted to show you guys a little piece of life here, but couldn't do it, man. Like, I'm not sitting on a 5-hour flight and paying like $500 for seats, and when we got games this weekend and we got to work this weekend, so it's a working week, man. Appreciate you, Mike Stacks. For signing up on Patreon. What's up, Wade Ford? Wade Ford joined on Patreon as well. Let's see what Wade Ford. Okay, here we go. Wade Ford says you can't stand down on this bet. It will set up for the Eagles to win by 9, 26 to 17. Okay. Okay, let's get Michael Mann on here.
Hey, bro, what's up, man?
Mike, what's up? How's it going? Finally in Patreon, man.
Yeah, bro, I had to join you.
Yeah,
it was about time. I used to be very independent about betting, and this year I wanted to try something new. So,
yeah, man.
Get our people's opinions.
Yeah, man, and either way, it's always good to bounce off ideas, like, because everyone sees different things. Like, I'm going to try to watch every single game this weekend, but we know how hard it is once we get to week 5, week 6. Like, luckily, I don't have anywhere to go Monday, so I'll just watch all the games. But
when that game last night got delayed and we got into the fourth quarter, I was struggling to stay awake. My body is not conditioned to watch football yet. I was like, what is happening here?
No, and Mike, it's just, I'm like, we're not used to the commercial breaks either. Like the rhythm. Like, I was plays going to the fridge and shit. Like, I wasn't used to the rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mike.
But yeah, bro, you excited for your Vikings?
Dude, I'm excited. You can just
I put money on them.
Yeah, you can respond to what I said since you're bullish on the Vikings. Like, I mean, really, is the Dexter Lawrence matchup the only concern? I mean, outside of that, I think it's cool runnings for the Vikings, but that's my only concern. And
no, everyone talks up that Giants defensive line, but you guys have 2 very good tackles on the edge with Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw. I mean, not only 2 good tackles, but 2 good pass blocking tackles. So I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be under the kind of pressure that some people think.
And luckily Addison's playing, so that's like you said, I think they'll be able to pass block. And that's probably most important in 2024 football. Like if you get your ass beat in the interior, it's not as big a deal as it was before. Let's be realistic about it. So yeah, you're bullish on the Vikings to beat them, right?
Yeah, I got money on them already. I got one that was -1. So
yeah,
I'm riding or dying with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it's on my list. Still contemplating it. And anyways, yeah. So let's get to like let's get to the Panther Saints because that's one game like I didn't really have like a take this week. Like
is Lauren coming on?
I'm not sure. I think I didn't see her in the chat after, but yeah.
Let's wait for her because I know she's gonna have opinions on that.
Okay.
But I think I've already told you how I feel about that game, but no one else does.
Yeah, and because I didn't cover it. That was the one game where I didn't cover all that good. Like, trust me, I'm trying to, but I just couldn't find an angle to it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. There's a lot of different ways that game could go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what game you want to talk about?
Well, for one, I think we talk about the catastrophe that was the officiating in last night's Chiefs-Ravens game. I know you said you were going to talk about it. You might have talked about it already, but that really stood out to me and pissed me off watching the game yesterday. We couldn't go 1 week without it.
Exactly. And Mike, we're getting a little bit of feedback from your mic. I think it's because like you're moving your table or some shit.
Hang on. Okay, let me rejoin.
Got you. No, we're good now. It's just
okay. Just stop moving.
Okay, we're good.
All right.
Okay, go on, Mike.
But no, the officiating last night, I get it's week 1, but you cannot tell me that you can justify not calling a flag on the Chiefs defensive coordinator for calling a timeout. And meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, we're literally going to flag the Ravens before they can even line up and snap the ball. That every play. Like you cannot justify that. That's unacceptable. Like that kind of crap is why we can't bet on the Chiefs.
You can't bet them. And Mike, rejoin because the mic's like doing that weird thing. But Mike, I agree. I'm gonna go off on it because this is why I don't bet their games. And man, I want to be a people pleaser. I get it. Like we're gonna have Chiefs Monday night games. We're gonna have Chiefs Sunday night games. We all want to bet the primetime game. And I want to be a people pleaser. And I got people on Patreon who pay $5, got executive table now. People pay their hard-earned money. And yes, they want to come home. They want to pound a few beers. They want to bet the game. And I can't bet it, even if I have an angle on it. I can't bet it when it involves them. All right, go on, Michael, man. Good evening, Lauren.
No, and like I was saying, you can't justify it. You cannot tell me that you're going to let the Chiefs get away with their defensive coordinator calling a timeout when he's not the head coach. And on the other side of the ball, we're not even going to let the Ravens snap it before they get a flag. Like, literally 3-4 straight plays that happened. Like, it's completely
brutal. Dude, the Spagnuolo one is the thing that broke me because you can cover the other stuff and say it's a point of emphasis. But I felt like Staley was in good position the whole night. One I thought was justified. The other two were just bush league.
It was terrible.
And then the defensive coordinator, you're right about that. And then the rules analyst has to come on and say, like, bro, like, I've never seen this before.
Look, man, I don't believe the NFL is rigged. But
no, it's not.
No, but they certainly have favorites, and they will go a long way to make sure those favorites succeed. Like, when was the last time you saw a team like the Jets or the Lions or the Panthers get a call like that?
No, I agree. When was the last time you've seen the Panthers even get a call? And Mike, and before we get
Lauren, and for anyone to care.
Yeah, well,
that's the thing. No one cares. But even
nobody's going to make a big deal out of it. Right.
Like, look at how big Harrison Buckner is now. Look how big Travis Kelce is now. Like, we've never seen a team this big. Like,
and what pisses me off, the fans don't even like the Chiefs anymore. Everybody hates them now. Like, if you look at last night on Instagram when they Coach Taylor Swift walking into the stadium, every single one of those comments was just saying something negative about Taylor Swift. People don't like this team, yet the NFL rides them because they make more money than the bad teams.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing before we get Lauren in. Man, Mike, when I watch Chiefs games, I don't know if that used to watch wrestling, but I've always rooted for the heel, the bad guy. I always feel that when I watch Chiefs games, the Chiefs are the baby face and the opposing team is the heel, and the baby face miraculously wins when you think they're not gonna win. And honestly, man, it's become boring watching their games. And I'll be honest with you, man, I would rather watch the fucking Panthers and Saints than watch a Chiefs primetime game. No, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. And I got to tell you one thing, man. I thought back. Remember when the Bengals upset them in Arrowhead?
Yes.
I almost couldn't celebrate, even with winning a ton of money. And Lauren predicted that whole run, by the way. I was happy for her. But I couldn't even celebrate because I couldn't believe it that they lost in a 2-minute situation. Like, and that's where we're at, man. Like, anyways,
dude,
go on.
When Mahomes threw that terrible pick last night, like literally the first thing in my mind is, where's the flag? And I was literally sitting there like for a minute in the bar, just like looking around, like, where's this damn flag? Because you knew there was one coming.
When they got on Linderbaum, he was inside and he just held for a minute. Lamar, did you call back a 40-yard run?
That negated a 40-yard run that probably would have let the Ravens score. Oh yeah, you got to call that back. And dude, they were trying so hard to not let the Ravens score on their opening drive. They called like 4 or 5 penalties on that opening drive alone, and it was complete bullshit.
I know. And listen, like when you get those 5-yard penalties, like listen, I'll criticize Monken and Harbaugh for getting away from the run game last night. But when you start fucking 1st and 15, fucking 7 times a game, that's why you get away from the run. Anyways, go on, Lauren. I had to take the bait, man. Like I had to take the bait. I don't even want to complain about the refs. Like I don't think it's fixed. Like I don't think Goodell's pushing a button or anything like that. But fuck.
Yeah, First of all, there are 31 other teams to blame for Xavier Worthy getting to the Chiefs.
No, I know it's bad.
Let's start there.
The Bills deserve most of that blame. I was like willing and ready to draft him if he fell to us. But of course the Bills traded down and didn't let us trade with them, so we couldn't get him.
Same thing with Hollywood Brown too, Lauren. Like it's just
well, and one more thing, like, about the officiating. Lawson, I sent this video to you. There's a great video from the Super Bowl. First quarter, 49ers got called for holding or something. It was a crappy call, a very touchy call, one they could have easily kept away. And Kyle Shanahan looked at the ref right in the eye, and he said, the next time the Chiefs do that, you better call it on them. Not one holding call the entire game. And the Chiefs were holding Nick Bosa nonstop the entire fourth quarter.
I remember the first Super Bowl they played. The holding from the Chiefs was outrageous. I blew a gasket. And Mike, it's just they have to be on a no-bet list. Yeah. And I've never put a team on a no-bet list for this type of reason.
And that pisses me off because, like, I was an advocate more than anyone, I think, of betting against the Chiefs last season. And now I can't do that because of the officials.
Mike, they don't look good. They don't look good.
Nope. Unless they're like minus 10 or something like that, we can't touch them.
Like, Mike, and here's the thing. Do they really even need the rub of the green? Or do they need every 50-50 to go their way? They got fucking Pat Mahomes. Andy Reid made Donovan McNabb have Hall of Fame stats. If I don't think people understand how miraculous a job that was. You have one of the best offensive minds. Like, you got Steve Spagnuolo at defense corner. Like, do they need help? Do they need to let Steve Spagnuolo call timeouts?
Exactly.
Anyways, go on, Lauren. Let's talk about this Panthers Saints game, and let's get to the Eagles Packers too.
Why?
lose a lot of viewers. We're going to lose a lot of viewers by talking
We're
about
going to lose it, but we got to do. Anyways, let's get to the Eagles Packers. People want to hear about that.
I mean, I'm on the Packers.
You can tell us why.
Yeah, I mean, so when it comes to, it's really a neutral field. I'm not going to really call anybody a home team here. But I think that, I think the Eagles are going to be good this year. But I think, what is it, 2.5? The 2.5? Yeah, I think I would take the points with Green Bay. I think that they're both equally as good. So if I'm playing on a neutral field, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't touch overseas games. I don't do London games. I don't do the Germany game. I'm not going to do it when it's in Hong Kong. I'm not going to do it when it's in Croatia. I'm not going to do it when it's in Italy. Like, I don't care where it is. I just don't. I prefer not to touch these overseas games. But if I were to play it, I would take the Packers with the points, and much as it pains me to say that, but I would.
I'm with you, honestly. This is a do not touch for me. Especially this game being in Brazil, where it's like the players can't even leave the hotel, and apparently
it's dangerous.
Yeah, apparently you can't wear green. Like, that has to have some sort of effect, right? I have the Eagles to win.
John's laughing. Lawson's laughing because he lives there.
I know,
but they literally were saying that. They were saying they weren't allowed to leave the hotel.
AJ Brown looked like he was traumatized coming out of the team meeting that talked about what you can't do in Brazil.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have Eagles to win and cover. I have questions about both these defenses. For the Eagles, I want to see how their linebackers are, how their linebackers tackle, how do they cover out of the backfield. On the other side of the ball, and ultimately why I have the Eagles winning, is I don't think the Packers are going to stop the run. And in Brazil, where it's going to be hot, where it's going to be sunny, you're going to get a lot of Saquon Barkley. You're going to get a lot of Jalen Hurts, and you're going to have to go 4 quarters with that. In week 1 of the season, we saw the Chiefs defense get gassed last night. I think the same thing happens to the Packers, and I think the Eagles pull it out late. But again, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? That's my analysis.
Yeah, you guys kind of are both ending up at that point. I'm kind of a strong lean for the Eagles, but I kind of get Lawrence and the elegy, because listen, we've made money betting London games before, but we've seen fucking 25 of them. Okay, so it's a little bit different. And and Sean is mentioning the traveling issues. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier in the show. Don't want to repeat myself, but pretty much, yeah, Green Bay's been stuck in a bus for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, which is predictable. That's why I said it's it's not really the place to visit. I think the players thought they were going to Rio de Janeiro.
There's no hotel closer.
It's the traffic. It's the worst traffic in the world there. It's either that or LA last time I read.
So. Lawson, your mic is doing weird stuff. I think you broke your mic yelling at it.
Mic check.
There. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
But okay, let's if it's okay with you, let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about this damn Panthers Aints game.
Yeah, let's get to it.
So we're going to talk about 2 shit teams playing each other.
Let's do it. Hey, I'm betting on the Vikings this week, and I'm going to win with them.
But here's the thing, Lauren. This was one of the games, honestly, I wasn't able to give a good take on. I know what's going on with these teams. I just wasn't able to give any sort of take.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't hate. What is it? 4 points? Is it 4?
Yeah.
Right? It stayed at 4.
Yeah. 4.
I wouldn't hate the points. They usually play each other kind of tight. So I would give the lean to the Saints because of the home field, but I mean, I don't see much. I mean, here's the thing. Carolina can't be any worse than last year, right? Bryce Young's now in his 2nd year.
I've said that before, and they continue to amaze me. So hopefully you're right.
You said that.
I've said that for great years.
No, that's true. That's true. But here's the deal. So they can't really be any worse. They did add, who did they add? DJ Moore, right? Deontay Johnson. I'm sorry. DJ went to Chicago. So yeah, they added Deontay. They still got Adam Thielen, who, even though I don't even know how old he is now, he's still reliable. They're going to be okay when they have that Brooks kid come when he's healthy. So I think if he was playing, it might be a little bit different situation. But here's the thing. So the Saints defense, our O-line is trash, but the defense is not bad. And we even added Chase Young. So even though everyone thinks that they're like Cam Jordan's ancient and this, that, and the other, their defense is still decent. Now we still have, like I said, we still have the Honey Badger. We added Chase Young. So these are guys that are pretty good. Oh, and our guy that always fights Evans.
Move your mic a little bit. Move your mic a little bit.
Out.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah,
Okay.
And Michael, man, who are you taking with the spread?
I have the Saints to win and cover. As much as I'd love to come in here on my high horse and say that we're going to beat New Orleans, I just can't see it. I have to use my brain on this and look at the matchups. Every time Carolina has played New Orleans, the secondary just locks us down. And I don't think this Panthers defense is good, or this Panthers offense is good enough to do anything to change that, especially in an offense like Dave Canales. And I like Dave Canales, but he's made a point.
I do too.
Point that this is a very timing-based offense, and New Orleans defense is known for disrupting exactly that. So I have New Orleans to win and cover. I think the Saints stink. I think the Panthers will be better than they were last year, and I would not be surprised if they won this game. But looking at the matchups, I don't think our pass rush, I think the receivers don't win on the outside. I don't think our pass rush is going to get to Derek Carr enough, even though their offensive line sucks. And I think those are the key matchups that give the Saints the win.
I kind of think the Panthers are going to be competitive, but can't argue.
What do you say?
I think the Panthers are going to be competitive. I'm just curious about
the whole world is taking the points. Everybody's taking the Carolina 4 points.
4 points is also a very very kind of slim line to bet too.
Awkward number, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we get after Derek Carr, and this might be the theme, if your offensive line cannot protect Derek Carr, it's going to be a long season for y'all. Y'all could end up with 4 or 5 wins. I'm not even kidding. Derek Carr is one of the quarterbacks in the league under pressure. And that offensive line is one of the worst week 1 starting offensive lines I've seen in a while. So, I mean, I think you'll survive this week just because our pass rush sucks. But I would not be surprised if we won this week, and if you guys struggle with this for at least the first month of the season.
I do like Alvin Kamara over 50 rushing yards.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alvin Kamara has had some very bad games against Carolina, and I don't know how anyone on your offensive line is going to block Derek Brown.
You see, he's really good against you guys.
I see him twice a year.
I know.
I think.
He's gonna have to be good.
Johnny Guns, Cowboys, Browns. Do you think your Cowboys are gonna win? So what are you guys' best bets?
Cleveland. I am on Cleveland. I am on Cleveland.
I want to hear what he has to say about it because. Yeah, man, maybe we're over exaggerating the Cowboys off.
I'm on Cleveland, and I'll tell you who else I am very high on Tennessee this week. Tennessee is my best bet.
See, I'm going to be very conservative this week because week 1 is, I don't know about you guys, but week 1 is always my worst week of the year. So,
there's a lot of unknown,
I bet on Sam Darnold, and I'm probably not going to bet anything else if I'm being real.
You're betting Minnesota?
Yes. I've already placed my bet.
We're looking pretty good.
You couldn't find another game. You couldn't find another game to play. You went to that trash.
I see Brian Flores against Daniel Jones, and I'm licking my chops. Sam Darnold, as long as he gets it in the vicinity of Justin Jefferson, we're going to be just fine. And he's going to get me a good $200.
All right. Okay.
Lauren, you think the Giants are going to win?
No, I don't really care. I don't know. I think that's a. I'll find out who wins on ESPN with that game.
Yeah, no one's going to watch.
But yeah, the Titans won. Yeah, let's get to Monday Night Football then, because we got to cut it short tonight because got the game coming on.
Oh.
But Monday Night Football.
Oh yeah.
Say that again.
No, I forgot about the game tonight. What time is it on?
8.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I one other thing really quickly, guys. Yes, I do like Tennessee this week. I think it's 4 points. I actually took Tennessee money line.
Wow.
I don't disagree with the logic. Like I get it. Like I think there's way too much Bears hype. So
I have one game, and Lawson's gonna kill me. I have one game that I'm relatively high on, and I think I have a good read on. Lions and Rams, and give me the Lions by more than 3.5. Reason being, look at the trench matchup. This was a matchup last year that was very much determined inside, on the offensive line of both sides of the ball. And this offseason, losing Aaron Donald and replacing him with essentially 2 rookies is not a good thing when you're playing one of the best offensive lines in football the first week of the season. So I think the Lions offense is going to have a field day on the ground. I think they're easily going to get over 30. And I think they're going to cover this 3.5. I think you're going to have to sweat for it. You're going to have to wait till like the fourth quarter to get the cover secured. But I do think Lions win and cover.
And then it moved up to 4.5 this morning, and I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
And can I be honest about something? I think the Rams are not going to be good this year. I don't think that defense is going to be what it was last year at all. And I do wonder, like, they did improve the offensive line, but I don't know. I'm not in on the Rams this year.
Something that was very underrated about the Rams too is they actually lost a good number of dudes in that coaching staff. They lost Raheem Morris to the Falcons. They lost not their offensive coordinator, but one of their key guys also to the Falcons, where he's going to call. Lauren, didn't y'all take somebody from the Rams?
They lost a lot of people.
But coaching wise,
yeah.
Whatever. The Saints stole somebody from LA. Point is, they've had a lot of turnover in that coaching department this offseason, and I think it could have an impact tonight.
Kind of agree. And also, like, Monday Night Football, let's get the picks before we head out of here, because I'll just lay out my opinion on it. I feel very hesitant. This game has been haunting me, but I think the Jets can win the game. Like, if that's the upset I'm going with this week, it would probably be that or the Raiders. But I think the Jets can do it. And I think this is a good time to play the 49ers. And I'm going to reiterate my point, like, best defense in the league, best defense of this generation. And I don't know about you guys. Like, the only thing that's stopping me from betting this is, firstly, I don't like betting Monday night games. But more importantly, I don't trust Nathaniel Hackett and Bob Saleh. Like, I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm being overcritical. But Lauren was even making fun of, like, Saleh last year. Like, so yeah, man, I like the Jets in this one. I think they can win the game.
The Jets all they did is improve in the offseason. That's all they did. They just improved. I would, if I were to take them, Aaron Rodgers has like owned San Fran in the regular season, and then gets his ass beat in the postseason by them. So now, of course, he's in a different team now, and we haven't even seen him play but 12 seconds last year. Yeah, if I were to play it, I would take the Jets. Just because I would take the dog with the best defense in the league, I think, and they are legit talented. Look how good they did last year with the merry-go-round circus hot potato they played with quarterback. That Mike White and Zach Wilson and
I don't think
whoever else.
I don't know if they don't. It kind of turned into a disaster at the end of the year.
Yeah, but they were still competitive, like the
Right.
first like
Yeah.
12, 13 games. Like and pretty much like she's saying this to say what I was saying. Like,
dude, we
the
were
Jets
robbed.
offense can put up 17, 20 points a game. They can be pretty damn good.
We were robbed of a Zach Wilson game-winning drive against Patrick Mahomes. Y'all remember that?
Yeah,
dude,
I remember that.
That was a Zach Wilson legacy game in the making, and the NFL took it from us. I was but okay, for this game, I hope no one's betting this. Like, of all the games this week, I think this is one where you don't want to make your stand. I'm going 49ers to win and cover. I'll be honest, I have no idea what the hell's going to happen. This could be a shootout, I think. This could be, a 13-16 type of game. I'm picking the 49ers because looking at the coaching matchup, I'm thinking this game's going to be low scoring. And if I have to pick someone to make an adjustment on offense, are you going to take Kyle Shanahan or are you going to take Hackett?
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, I think we'll close there because, yeah, that's a good way to sum it up. So
Arizona plus 6.5. My next play before I go. Arizona plus 6.5. Book it.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I like it.
Love it.
Offense.
Let me tell you something, guys. I would not be surprised if Arizona makes it to the playoffs this year. They have got one hell of a high-powered offense, and Kyler Murray is going to be your comeback player of the year. Book it.
Their defense still kind of sucks, though. They're going to be in a.
Listen,
I felt like Brandon Staley did a good job coaching last year. So if he can coach well, like I think the Cardinals finish ahead of the Rams. That'll be my hot take. All right, so I gotta ask you guys a question before we go. Like, what time was the live call-in show last year? Eastern time.
6 or 5? 5?
I think 5 or 6.
Well, I'm in Central Time Zone.
Oh yeah, it was 6.
Okay,
so it was 5 for me.
Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, 6 p.m. Eastern time next week for the live call-in show. Hit the like button, share the videos. Thank you for coming on, Lauren. Thank you, Mike.
Good luck, guys.
Have a good one. Enjoy the football this week. Thank God it's back.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Really happy to have it here.
Amen. Amen.
All right.
You don't sound like you're watching that Saints-Panthers game. You can't.
No, there's too much other stuff to enjoy. I don't think I have one Saints player on any of my fantasy leagues. Honestly.
I have.
No, I do have the defense.
I think I'm kind of obligated to suck that up,
Yeah, well, she's not going to watch, so like,
I'm going to watch. I'm going to have on Red Zone. So if any of those teams seem to make it to the Red Zone, I'll see it.
Ain't gonna see
we'll end it there. Hit the like button, share the video.
All right, catch y'all later. Bye.
Sounds good. And guys, the batch will be posted on Patreon halftime of the Eagles Packers game. So I hope everyone has a good night. Steve, thank you, Steve. Wrath of Raider and Johnny Guns, we got to get you on, man. We got to get you on. The best way is to just send me an email because I can't send the link in YouTube, and and I tried commenting my email in the YouTube and it didn't work. So let me know. What's up, Brian Webb? Have a good night. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the football. Thank you for joining me. Slam the like button before you leave. Have a good one.